Mental health conversation has gone mainstream. Searches for emotional support animals have gone viral. They're exploding. Therapy apps are everywhere. And people are even throwing divorce parties online. That still blows my damn mind. But it's a good thing. We're more comfortable than ever talking about anxiety and trauma, but somehow many still feel stuck. Stay until the end because I'll share one micro shift that helped me stop sabotaging and start being more productive. It doubled my productivity. The Mountain is You argues that self sabotage, not bad luck, is often our biggest obstacle. So here's how to climb that mountain and win. Self sabotage isn't laziness, it's coping. The author starts by flipping the script that self sabotage isn't weakness, it's your brain trying to protect you. When you procrastinate, you overeat, or you're picking fights, it's not self hatred, it's an unconscious way to avoid pain or fear. Even psychologist Carl Jung realized his childhood fainting spells or his mind's escape route from things he hated. When you see self sabotage as coping and not failure, you remove shame and replace it with curiosity. Second thing is you need to find the root of the problem. Behind every self sabotaging pattern is fear, a false belief, or a bad association with something on why you cannot be that person, why you can't do that particular thing. Maybe you secretly think you don't deserve success. A lot of people do. They see other people and say, I should be able to do that, but I don't, it's not for me. I don't deserve that. Maybe you link money to selfishness. If I have too much money and I'm not giving or I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm the selfish person. Real self love isn't repeating those fluffy, kind hearted affirmations. It's about facing the uncomfortable truth about why you're holding yourself back. Why can't you be that person? Once you name it, you can change it. The next thing you need to do is you need to be able to spot the signs before they spiral. Cleaning the whole house instead of working on your business, slacking off right after a big win, picking fights when things are going well. That's your self sabotage showing its face. The moment you can name the pattern, you can regain control. This may be an unpopular opinion, but your brain hates change, even good change. In the book, it talks about how the mind craves stability. Even good news, a raise, a relationship, a new house can trigger resistance because it's unfamiliar. You get a new house. Oh, can I even afford this? Knowing that you already did the financials, you already figured all this out before, and you know you can afford it. But it felt so unfamiliar that you decided to self sabotage and tell yourself that, hey, I don't think I can afford this. This is not for me. I made a bad choice. And then the regret sets in when it's really not something that you need to worry too much about because you already did your due diligence beforehand. That's why the author recommends these micro shifts. Small, consistent actions that rewire you for success. Saving $5 a day, journaling for 5 minutes, tiny moves that lead to massive growth. Being able to determine the difference between intuition and intrusive thoughts. Not every gut feeling deserves your trust, your attention. True intuition is calm, it's grounded. Intrusive thoughts are anxiety and chaos. This is when things start to set in like, oh, what am I doing? Learn the difference. Journaling and mindfulness helps you listen to the quiet voice of intuition, not the loud noise of fear, not the anxiety, not the trauma that's louder than the quiet voice of intuition that you have within you. The author's healing advice sounds backwards, but I am all for it. You have to allow healing to happen, or you have to heal by allowing things to happen and not so much of suppressing them. For example, something happened to you when you were a child. Instead of pushing it deep down within yourself, you need to actually be able to address it, allow it to be brought up so that you can actually heal from it. The more you keep things down and hidden and secret, as great as it may feel that everyone doesn't know or whatever the situation, it's better to actually address it and allow it to be in the forefront of your mind. You don't have to worry too much about it in the future because you're not holding that in. You already let it out. You healed from it. Stop fighting the pain. Let yourself fall apart so you can rebuild properly. There's too many times that we see people, self included, that hold everything in. They keep it nice and tight, close to the chest, and then at some point they hit their breaking point and they just can't control what happens next. And they crash out or they fall apart. Write a letter to your younger self. Grieve your old expectations. Healing isn't about forcing positivity. It's about cleaning up all the emotional clutter so something better can grow from it. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength under control. So men have a huge problem with this because, a lot of the times we're told, suck it up. We're told, be a man, don't be and these things are great and they're important, to have the strength to be able to do such things. But the more you hold it in, that's why we see large amounts of suicide, because people are not addressing the problem. They're not allowing it to happen. They're not allowing it to be talked about. They're not getting it out of their system, out of their mind. They're focusing only on it by hiding it and letting anxiety take over their lives. What you need to do is you need to master yourself, and that can be done through micro habits. Transformation doesn't come from massive leaps. It comes from repetition. Do something over and over so that it is common for you to do it. Drink water, make your bed, read 10 pages of a book, set your phone down for an hour, don't look at it. Each small act builds evidence of a new identity. So I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story real quick about how small micro habits actually help things like improve my sleep and really change my focus and productivity over time. When I was younger, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I came across this guy. His name was Clark Kegley. And he was just talking about the ultimate guide to keeping a journal and how he breaks it into different sections and how each section has a particular agenda. He had a brain dump section, a work section, a rest section, and then, obviously I adjusted it for me. My point here is that I started writing daily. I carried this journal everywhere, and I still do. I had it in the car. If something happened that I felt like I needed to write down, next time I got in my car, I write it down. I wouldn't take it to work because it was 8x10 and it was just too big to be carrying it around. When I made the shift to journaling daily, journaling everything that I thought was like a good idea or whatever, my productivity shot up through the roof. I've been wanting to start a business for so long, and I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? Then I get home and I start thinking about that business again. I'm like, crap, what was it that I was talking about? What was it that I wanted to do? So once I actually started taking notes and keeping a journal with me, I started to practice more gratitude. I started to get more done. I started to create to-do lists and actually execute those tasks. It wasn't just me talking and never getting anything done. The next thing is you need to align with your future self. You know where you want to be, so you need to align yourself today to get to where you want to be. Self-sabotage thrives in confusion. When you don't know who you want to become, you act against your own goals. Visualize your future self. What do you want to say yes to? What do you want to refuse? Once you figure that out, once you define that, decisions become much easier and sabotage loses its power. Your emotions matter, but they shouldn't drive your car. You need to understand how to integrate your emotions with logic. Fill them out, validate them, see if it's really for you, and then take deliberate action for that particular topic, that particular emotion. This balance between your heart and your head is just emotional intelligence at work. It's what turns breakdowns into breakthroughs. The mountain is you reframe self-sabotage as the training ground for growth. When you recognize your patterns, you face your fears, and master small daily shifts, your mountain becomes your path upward. Comment below with the self-sabotage habit that you're breaking this year. Share this video to help normalize mental health conversations.